Hello everyone, I hope everyone's having a good day today. I am. Just some food for thought here. Architect your life or someone else will architect it for you. This is a statement that I heard some years ago, and ever since I heard it, it has stuck with me. Everything that we do on a day-to-day basis should be for our well-being. It should be for our progression. It should be serving and benefiting us so that we can serve and benefit others, whether that be family members, loved ones, and just our neighbors. What we do and what we spend our time doing plays a big part of our existence. Now, you are not just what you do, but what you do becomes a part of who you are. Architect your life or someone else will architect it for you. In making decisions, let's use a job for example. You're going to a company for opportunity because you have not yet created your own opportunity to make the money that they would be giving you in exchange for your service and your time. So when you sign documentation, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with working a job. You work a job that caters to where you are going. A job that will allow you to save, a job that will allow you to move how you want to move. As long as you are benefiting from it, you're in the right position. But what I am saying is when it comes to working, you need to make sure that you're not operating behind what they are telling you you should look like, what you should dress like, what you should sound like. Yes, in order to, this is what you sign up for when you go through that orientation and you sign those paperwork. You sign up for that. But what I'm saying is what you come into agreement with, get a job that agrees with you. Because if you do not architect your life, someone else will architect it for you. If they have opportunities out there and the schedule does not fit with the schedule that you have for your family, that you have for yourself, but instead of allowing you independence to be able to get to this job on time and do it faithfully without needing help, because maybe you have children and the job wants to work on the weekends and you don't have childcare on the weekends, or the job wants you to work long hours in daycare, school, like it doesn't fit with anything in your life, but you may want to say, well, I need this job. There are many different types of jobs, and what you won't stand for or stand up for yourself and say, this is the type of schedule that I need and this is the time that I can give, someone else is not going to consider all your other obligations, the things that are important to you. So you'll find yourself in a stressful position if you do not shape and architect the things that you come into agreement with to benefit you, benefit what you already have going on. Also, so that's job wise. When it comes to anything, you need to consider, is this benefiting me? Is it bringing me joy? Is it bringing me peace? Or is it stressful? Am I working so hard to where I can't enjoy these things? Are my expenses and my income neck and neck with each other? We're not trying to, what's that saying? Keep up with the Joneses. No, because what appearances can be deceiving. We want ownership of things. We want skills so that we can be valuable so that we can even save ourselves money when it comes down to taking care of ourselves. The basic things in life, we shouldn't have to rely on another to give that to us. We have to get the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding to where we can provide shelter for ourselves so that we can provide food for ourselves, because a lot of us are working for these things. Learn how to grow some crops. Learn different avenues of making income outside of just the normal work for someone else's company. There are some basic things that will always be out here as long as we live, to where if you become knowledgeable and skillful in these things, there will always be opportunity. So if you get these skills, you become the service. You create these products. You become the producer of this product and put yourself in position to where you're not just going to an employer for opportunity, but you become the opportunity yourself. And the word of God tells us that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children. So it's important that each family, we establish a means of knowledge, a means of wealth, because knowledge is wealth, within our own families that we can pass down, that will allow us to be of use to others, to where we can get compensation and purchase things, have land, have houses, have businesses, successful businesses, that our children can have a better start in their life than the starting point that we started at. So in architecting your life, make sure you're coming into agreement with things that are agreeing with you. Also, I'm going to make this statement and I'm going to tread lightly around it. If you understand it, you understand it. And if you don't, pray about it, and perhaps you will. We have to be careful with what reports we are hearing and what we just take in and run with. Just because somebody says something does not make it true. Just because they have a position over themselves does not mean that they are dealing in integrity. So be careful what you put into your body and what you come into agreement to allow to be put into your body. God made this body very, very powerful. Okay, we've all dealt with illnesses over the time of our lives, up until this point here, where we have gone through something and our body healed itself. Trust God. Trust God to where your body will fight off things that tries to attack it. Don't feel you have to put foreign substances into your body that you otherwise would not come into a contact with, in hopes of not coming into contact with something. It's not a wise thing to do. I have my own experiences behind certain things, but my opinion, I'm going to keep that to myself. But I want to say to someone, trust God when it comes to your body being capable of withstanding certain attacks, and also when it comes to your health. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. But let's be wise. Let's be very wise. Stand for what you believe in. If you don't do anything else, stand for what you believe in life. You know, one thing I can respect from anybody in many walks of life is that what they believe in, they stand for. It's a terrible feeling when you believe something, but yet you do the opposite out of fear. Don't let fear speak for you. Don't let fear speak for you, because fear makes you make hasty decisions because you're in a panic. And the Bible tells us that hasty decisions. Do not make hasty decisions. Hasty decisions will only lead to trouble. And remember what the Lord has told us about worrying. He says, do not worry. It only causes harm. God is the creator of the heavens and the earth and everything within. He has everything in his control and in his power. Pray to him. Pray to your Father, who is the creator of all things. Give him your petitions. You keep doing the best that you can do. Be careful about the reports that you take in as truth, because each human being is just that. No one has all the answers. We are all learning, all growing. So just because there's a position or a title that's telling you that this is what you should do for your family and for your body, be careful, because the only one who's going to have to live with those consequences or live with those effects will be you. So I just want to encourage you, because there are some times coming, there are some times that have been where unfortunately we've seen a lot of injustices, and we've seen a lot of trying to think of the best way to term it, a lot of deception take place. But no, the Lord God says it's not the beginning of a thing that speaks, but the end of a thing. So trust in God. You keep your ear out to God's report about your life, and realize just how much he is in control of everything. If you have questions about something, ask him. Ask him, is this good for me? Father, if you really seek him, if you ask him, he will tell you. He says, seek me and you will find me. He said, ask of me things. He said, ask of me great and mighty things, and I will show you great and mighty. He said, ask of me, and I will show you great and mighty things that you do not know. Excuse me. So if there's any confusion about anything pertaining to your life, know that you can go to God and ask him. And he does speak back to you. Pay attention to the things around you. Pay attention to the things that he put in his word. Pay attention to those dreams that you have, that you just know this wasn't from me, because I wasn't thinking about these things at all. Pay attention. Pay attention and listen. Listen. All of creation testifies of who God is. So, yeah, in architect your life, or somebody else will architect it for you. Don't be afraid to step away from things that on the outside may seem like it's an increase, but you know that this thing is not taking you to the place that you need to be. You know, it's not always what it seems when it comes to some of these job positions, when it comes to how we spend our time. We really have to be intentional about making the best decision for us. For me, the things that's important to me is my joy, because Life is meant to be fulfilling. We're meant to love the Lord, love others. And He did not bring us here. Our Father did not bring us here to be stressed, to be worried, to just pay bills. No, life is about way more than that. You were made to have dominion and to rule. You. So the first operation of ruling is you ruling you. You deciding for your life what you come into agreement with. Again, get skills, get knowledge, get understanding. Take a look at the things around you. See how they're operating. See who has these things set up into place. See these systems around you. And embark on the things that you think you would like to try your hand at. Friends, these were just some of the things I was thinking about, and I just wanted to put that out there for somebody who may need to hear it. On another note, I'm all moved in, and I am glad to have made the decision I made, because the advice that I'm saying now is the very thing that I had to take. I had to realize what is the best thing to do to progress forward. And the only way sometimes for you to move forward is to shift. Do something different to get different results. Sometimes we don't realize we're in patterns and we're in cycles because it seems like we're doing well, which we may be by the grace of God. But if you see something that's putting a cap on your potential, find your way to shift and to move at different heights, at greater depths, and work towards it. There are some resources that are available to you now that you didn't have years ago. There are some, and that could be when it comes down to opportunities. That could be when it comes down to technology. That could be when it comes down to inheritances. What we don't want to do is, like, I'll say the children of Israel, when they came out of Egypt, their mindset was still in the way of life that they used to know. That when they were moving towards the promised land, just because things didn't seem like it was, the blueprint wasn't put there totally before them, they thought maybe they were going to inherit it without having to do something. They started thinking about the old ways that they had, the old things that they came from. You don't have to think about those old ways that you came from, those old things. Start looking now at the opportunities that's in front of you, the resources that you now have available to you, and start moving like that. Start moving in those provisions. So it's good to take in perspective where we are and move forward to where we want to go. I think I'm going to stop right here, but remember, I just thought about something as well. And I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this real quick, and then I'm going to go. In architecting your life, architect your life, or someone else will architect it for you. I had a coworker. It was an unfortunate thing because it was a job that this coworker was working. He passed away. And day in and day out, I would see him come in, and the particular leadership that he was under was very, they were very nasty in their speech towards him. Yet you would see, and you could see it on his countenance every time you would come in. He ended up passing away one day. And the only thing that could come to my mind was, wow, had I come to work and someone treated me like this, I mean, every day management was treating him just nastily. I said, I bet if he could do it differently, he would. Because nobody deserves to be miserable. Nobody deserves to be disrespected. And the sad part about it is, when we allow those things, we're coming into agreement with it. I said to myself, when I saw that particular event take place, I said, oh no. For one, I know I will not allow anyone to speak that way to me for the sake of receiving a paycheck. No. Respect is due to a dog. But I said for myself, when I looked around that environment, and as time, because you can be in the same workplace but have totally different experiences, and I had a different experience than he did. But when things started to when I moved to a different position, but things started showing itself in full circle of some of the things that leadership was just being purposely negligent about, and how they spoke to their employees, I said to myself that when it comes to this, you got to be careful with what you come into agreement with. Because if I was to get stressed out like some of those folks there and started losing my hair, I couldn't blame God. Why? Because I'm coming into agreement with it. I signed up. I brought myself here to this job, and I continue going to this job. I say that to say, do not come into agreement with nothing that is not benefiting you. Don't come into agreement with something that's stressing you, that's beating on your self-esteem, something that's causing you issues. No. So every time I think about that situation, it just came to my mind. I said, I know for a fact that man knew that no one knows the day or the hour, that it was his time. He would have spent his time a lot differently. He would not have put up with that day in and day out. The unfair treatment and the very nasty, very unprofessional mannerisms that were presented there from leadership. So make sure that you are doing what's in your best interest. No one can tell you what's in your best interest, and no one's going to stand for what's in your best interest. That's something you have to decide for yourself and come into agreement with those things that agrees with what you want for yourself. Architect your life, or someone else by default will architect it for you. Blessings, everyone. See you later.